Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Live Album War. Today we've got two pretty special releases from two iconic guitar legends of the 60s. One of them still playing to this day, right? But his days as an absolute guitar hero, or guitar god as they used to call him, pretty much that was going on throughout the 60s and part of the 70s. All right, so we're talking about two of the biggest bands of the decade, of the 60s. Cream. All right, what I've done here is I've combined Live Cream and Live Cream 2 as one. All right, because they're in one here in this Mobile Fidelity release. And quite frankly, both were really short as it is, released shortly thereafter each other, right? I think one came out in 71 and 72 after Cream were no longer even a band, right? But each album was like, 40 minutes long, if that? So what Mobile Fidelity was is they released them both remastered, spectacular sound, by the way, in the mid-90s as one set. I'm going to present them here as one set, right? Because it just kind of makes sense, seeing as like the majority of the material and even like the live stuff from Wheels of Fire was all recorded at like Winterland, which is one of the popular places that Cream always played at. They should have just put together Cream Live at Winterland, right? Put everything together as one gigantic, massive double album set. But that's an argument for another time. So again, we got Cream Live, or Live Cream and Live Cream 2. We're going to do as one today. And on the other end of the ring, the master, Jimi Hendrix, live at Woodstock. Again, recorded at the Woodstock Festival, August 18th, 1969. All right, but not released as a full-on live album until many years later. Okay, I believe 1999 is when this officially first came out. And then we've had a couple of iterations of it. This is the most recent one, okay, which basically has the entire performance on it. All right, so... But again, both classic live albums released after each band was kind of kaput, right? So, again, we're going to talk about this as one. Just so you remember, the cover of the Live Cream, the initial Live Cream, is that bad boy right there. Okay, and then the other one, right, basically what you've already seen. So, some blistering performances on here, right? Despite the brevity of both of them. Live Cream, the initial one, you've got NSU, all right, like a 10-minute version of that. A lot of jamming on this album. But again, to go back to the conversation I had with you guys when we were talking about that 10 years after recorded live album, which I kind of knocked down a few pegs because of too much jamming. Here, the jamming is done within kick-ass songs, all right, where they would, instead of doing all these little short jams one after another, which were not part of any songs, here you got the jamming, by three virtuosos, Clapton, Baker, and Bruce, going nuts, playing off each other within the confines of excellent songs. So it kicks off with NSU, killer playing. I mean, Clapton is on fire. All three of them are great, all right, virtuosos. Sleepy Time, compact, but really, really excellent on here. Then you got Lawdy Mama, okay, which I believe was a studio track, okay, that they which became, believe Tales of Brave Ulysses, right? Strange Brew, okay. So Lawdy Mama actually was Strange Brew in a different incarnation or whatever. It's a studio track on here. Then you got Sweet Wine, which is like all sorts of lengthy and filled with great jams, okay. Clapton, man, just burning it up. And then Rollin' and Tumblin', that old blues classic. You got Bruce on harmonica. Great tune. All right, a lot of fun on here. And then on Volume 2, or Disc 2, you've got Deserted Cities of the Heart, which is excellent on here. Probably better than the studio version. Okay, you got White Room, which is cool, but I prefer the studio version. Politician is very cool on here, very good. Tales of Brave Ulysses, scorching Clapton guitar on that. Sunshine of Your Love, pretty neat. All right, again, another one of those tracks that probably sounds better in the studio version, but it's good. And then a rambling Stepping Out, again with more bass solos and drum solos and guitar solos, all that kind of stuff. Just the guys just feeding off of each other. But again, could you imagine if they released one big mammoth live album, that had Toad and Crossroads from the Wheels of Fire album, and just, how great would that have been? But as it is, put these two together. They're both really good on their own. Together, even better. It's a killer live package, I think. Okay, as is this. So, some of you have probably heard me mention many times. I own so many like Hendrix official live albums and unofficial live albums, because he had so many historic performances, right? I have long been a huge fan of this one. Okay, I think this one and the Band of Gypsies stuff, recorded at the Fillmore that weekend, New Year's Eve, probably for my money, Hendrix's best live performances ever captured on audio or video. All right, this is just, it's a shame. He played like the last day of the Woodstock Festival, Monday morning. 80% of the crowd is gone already, right? It's after sitting through the entire weekend, and he gives like one of his finest performances ever in front of such a small crowd. Which, I mean, if he would have played a day earlier, he would have done this in front of, 500,000 people. But it's all been captured on video, right? Captured on tape. So everybody has been able to enjoy that for many, many years. Here you've got, the Hendrix band as he's trying to put, a new act together, right? This is just prior to Band of Gypsies. This is the Gypsy Sun and Rainbows, I believe the name of the band here, or something like that. They got together with a bunch of guys up in Woodstock, New York, hanging out in a house for a week or two before the show, putting some ideas together and what have you. And you got a really cool set here that he played at Woodstock of some older classics and some of the newer stuff that they were working on. Some really excellent material. So you've got Message to Love, a blister in Hear My Train A-Comin'. All right, just tons of great grooves and different kinds of guitar tones from Hendrix. Spanish Castle Magic kills on here. Heavy. A nice version of Red House. Okay, Lover Man. Great, a lot of funky stuff going on. A little funk and R&B on some of the more recent stuff. Foxy Lady. Good version. You can't get away with playing that without playing that, right? Jam Back at the House. Another blistering jam. All right. Isabella over on side 2. Love Isabella, and this is my favorite version of Isabella on this from this performance. Fire, okay, another older tune that you kind of have to play, right? Voodoo Child, Slight Return, absolutely slays on here. It's like 13 minutes long. So many great guitar solos from Hendrix. Then that goes right into the Star Spangled Banner. Of course, the iconic Star Spangled Banner. He would play that at various dates all around the country that year, but it's this one from Woodstock that everybody remembers. Of course, it was in the movie. It's iconic. It's just incredible. That goes into Purple Haze, one of the heaviest versions of Purple Haze you'll ever hear. And then he goes into the Woodstock improvisation, Villanova Junction, okay, which is this long kind of little improvisation guitar solo type thing. Unbelievable. And then finishing it all off with Hey Joe, which, for my money, a little anticlimactic, but I guess to kind of take out that entire performance on kind of like a more tranquil note, not too bad, right? But overall, so I love this, right? I do. How do you not love Cream, right? And it's a collection of some of their greatest performances live. Like I said, Winterland and a bunch of other venues and what have you. But man, this is Hendrix we're talking about here. And this is Hendrix at Woodstock. Doesn't get much better than this. Doesn't get much better than this. Like I said, you give me this album and you give me the stuff from the Fillmore, during the Band of Gypsies run there. That, for me, eclipses. I love the Hendrix studio albums. Don't get me wrong. I love them. But man, I always loved Hendrix live better. Some people say, oh, but he was kind of sloppy live. I'm like, whatever. Hendrix live, man, when he was on, was just unbeatable. And for me, I could listen to this over and over and over and over and over again. I have listened to it over and over again for all these years. I just absolutely love this performance. There's this kind of like looseness and earthiness about his performance in the band at that point in time. And again, not a lot of experience with each other. You got Mitch Mitchell on drums and, Billy Cox and I forget what the other guy's name is. So it's a little bit of a different lineup. You got the guy playing percussion and congas, and I forget what Larry Lee also on rhythm guitar, who you don't even really hear on here. So it's a different lineup. It's kind of experimenting and get to know each other, but man, it totally clicked. And his guitar work, his guitar tone, the effects he's using at the show, the fuzz and the univibe and the wah-wah. Some of the best uses of those effects pedals combined in a performance I've ever heard from this show. Just unbelievable. So for me, this is like a 7th round TKO. Clapton and the boys are putting up a good fight, but man, in the end, Jimmy's just over our overall guitar prowess. Just has the Cream guys on the ropes. Referee steps in, stops the contest. Your winner, Jimi Hendrix, live at Woodstock. If you ask me, that is the album that should make it onto round 2 of this classic live album tournament, but it's not my vote that counts. It's yours. So go in that upper right-hand corner. You'll see that little white circle with a little letter I in it. Click on that. Vote for Jimi. Vote for Cream. Also go on our Facebook page. You can vote there too, and we'll see which one makes it on to the next round. So visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. Tons of reviews and all sorts of fun stuff over there. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're on YouTube every damn day. We've got another classic live album war coming up today between 2 hard rock heavyweights. I think you're going to dig it. So don't miss it, and we'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.